Label is the law. Because if you don't follow that, you get fined. This lady just wanted like everything sprayed down. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And she flipped out. If you gave him the world plus the moon, he still wouldn't have been happy. He would have been like, well, why didn't you bring in more? Pest control is easily avoidable if you change the environment. To be in pest control, right? Yeah, you're supposed to read a little booklet. Nobody reads it.
As Jackson would say about GameStop.
GameStop expects you to give them the moon using paper clips.
Any of the employers you worked for in the pest control business, did they expect the moon using paper clips?
Using paper clips?
Yeah. Did they ever...
Oh, yeah, I know what you're getting at. Not necessarily. So, for example, right, like when I was with Orkin, for the most part, my service managers, pretty cool, right? Yeah. They know what to expect. Hey, that's your day. Just get your day done. You're good. The overall, like, branch manager, a little different story. One, because he, to be honest, I don't know if he could tie his shoes. If he was made to.
But he was this high up?
Yeah. Oh but he's also one of these guys where it's like safety didn't matter, right? Quick little story here. There was this place way off in the middle of nowhere, and it was still when I was doing like the wildlife stuff, and I just needed to go onto this roof to just do a little inspection. As far as like gear to get onto a roof, I had my ladder, and I had like this real big like foam block, and that's it, right? And some roofs in Minnesota are no joke like this, right?
No.
And for the most part,
steep.
Yeah, just ridiculously steep, and it's just me. So if I fall, nobody's gonna know. It's already happened. But I went to this one house and I knocked on the door. Super old lady, but really nice. She's like, "Who else is helping you?" I was like, "No, it's just me." And she's like, "You see my roof, right?" I was like, "Yup, I do." And I was like, "Look, I'll do what I can, and we'll kind of go from there." So for like a half hour, I tried to get on this roof, and like I couldn't even like get over like my ladder enough to get on without like sliding backwards. I was like, all right, well, this isn't gonna fucking work. I can't even get on it, much less if I like happen to jump up. I don't know how I'm gonna get back onto my ladder, get down, and I'm not trying to fall off a roof again. This is like maybe a month or two after I had just fallen off that roof. So it's like, I'm just not gonna do this again. So I called my service manager, like, dude, like, and I took a picture for him. I was like, I don't know how to get on this roof. Like, it's just not at an angle that's good. And he's like, yeah, no, I see it. We'll take care of it. The salesman that sold the job must have just like overbid this just ridiculously, because my service manager or branch manager just needed to get this done. It was going to happen regardless, and no matter how much they would argue, my branch manager was like, no, he's going back out. So all three of us went out to this house, and my branch manager is like, look, you back this ladder all the way back so that it's like looks like a bridge, and then you pin it against your truck, and then you like crawl all the way through. He's like, just do that. I was like, no. And then he's like wanted to argue with me. I was like, no, I'm just not gonna do it. And I was like, if that's how all it works, you do it. Oh, well, I don't have to because it's not my job. It's like, you're here, do it. And he just wouldn't do it. And eventually, we kind of walked away. And for months, basically until I was done with working, once a month he would bring up that job.
Oh my god.
Once a month. He just could never let it go because I told him no. And he's also one of those guys too. When I put in my 2-week notice, he's just like, he went to my service manager. He's like, do we even need him for the next 2 weeks? Because he was just going to fire me on the spot. He's one of those assholes where it's just like, oh, you put in your 2 weeks out, well, you're fired. Get out of here type of thing.
Wow.
He needed me for those 2 weeks, so he had to still pay me, and he was not happy about it. But, yeah.
Wow.
One of those guys.
So he's an example of someone that expected the moon.
100%.
Oh my god.
So that he could, because he was one of those guys, he took 3-hour lunch break. He uses a company vehicle, so he never had to pay for gas. He sat in his office, was on the phone for like maybe 20 minutes a day. That is it. He didn't do any work, so yeah, it was all about the bottom line with
And
it.
that was working. What about Terminex? They
Terminex.
expect the moon. I mean, I kind of remember, people watching too. We've already done a couple of videos. You should watch the first one where you explain that, like, you had to do calls.
Yep.
And then, like, your own schedule. Like, they didn't have someone, like, an office person doing all that.
Right.
Which is stupid.
With Terminex, it's you were on your own for the most part, right? Like, we didn't have meetings. We didn't do anything. It was, here's your list of things that get done in a month. And that's it. The only time I ever really interacted with any of them was if I just needed a day off or called in or something like that. And even then, it was just like, all right, cool, just move your day.
Was there ever, like, hey, you didn't do this job right, or you should have done...
No. I had one where, like, this lady was freaking out because people are weird when it comes to chemicals, especially like pesticides.
Yeah.
And this one lady was like, no, you have to spray all of this and all of this, and it's just like not safe, and it's not within the label. And the big thing for pest control is label is the law, right? Everybody who's worked in pest control knows that little saying, because if you don't follow that, you get fined. And it's not the company that gets fined, it's you as the applicator who gets fined, and the company's not going to pay for it. So this lady just wanted, like, everything sprayed down. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And she flipped out. And so as soon as I left, I called my boss and was like, hey, just so you know, you're getting a phone call. And he's like, don't worry about it. I've already canceled her service.
So have you ever been fined? Were you ever fined?
No. A lot of guys, so like the Department of Agriculture will drive around and they can pull you over and check your truck and all that stuff and make sure everything is labeled properly and all this.
Did you ever get one of those checks?
No. I've never even seen one. And a lot of applicators are like so scared because they've been pulled over once, or they were at like a McDonald's and the dude was like, yeah, let me check your truck. Type of thing. I've never seen one in my entire life, so I don't know. It is like the boogeyman type of thing for a lot of guys.
Yeah. So the number of people they would have you call, was it an outrageous number? Was it?
So it
in
was.
Your opinion?
Is more of you had so many in a day, or so many in a month to do. So if you wanted a day off in that week, well, some of those have to go other places. So typically, I would do between 8 and 12 stops ish a day, and it's not that bad depending on how far away each of them is, right? If you're just in St. Paul, you're just in St. Paul. Really, it's not that big of a deal.
You would have jobs all over the metro.
It was all over the metro, but it was also like learning how to schedule it, because nowadays it would be a whole lot easier, right? But GPS wasn't what it was 10 years ago, where it was easier to plan out a day. So it was like, oh yeah, I needed to go there, and that's at my end of the day, but I'm driving back and forth down one street when I could have planned this a little better.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of learning that, for sure. So, but then.
So what if you didn't get all your calls? Or, I mean, all your stops done, or all the...
Oh, I wouldn't know. I mean, I got all my stuff done, but okay. I mean, I'm sure, like, there's some carryover. whatever.
Okay, so it seems like they were, maybe they expected a good amount, but they weren't too like on top of you.
And then too,
and no hand holding.
That, but then also like, think about it this way too. 10 years ago, $17 an hour was a good pay. Now it's McDonald's cash, but 10 years ago it was really good, and that's what I was getting paid. So it was we expect good work out of you and to work probably longer hours, but there's no hand holding. You were, in a way, you're doing your own business for another business type of thing. That's how I kind of saw it. Now, granted, I wasn't at Terminix for very long, but then I went to Orc and I ended up making more. So it's kind of one of those.
Yeah. So then Green X, did they expect the moon with paper?
100%. 100%. Because it was, you have your 8 to 15 stops to do in a day, but you had to upsell. And if you weren't upselling, then you were doing role play and stuff the next day at the morning meeting.
When were these morning meetings? Like 6 in the morning?
6 in the morning.
Oh, fuck that.
And then you're on the road at 7 to do your first stop by 7:30ish, and then you do your whole day and whatnot.
Did a lot of people have to do the role play?
Yeah, a lot of people.
So the goals were kind of on the insane side?
A little bit, especially because like the commission kind of sucked, right? You sell something that the company is going to make $600 on per year, and you got $10. It's kind of like, I don't have the incentive to sell this, so why am I selling it? Type of thing. So yeah, it's one of those things.
What about your bosses there? Did they expect a lot out of you?
So I had 2 bosses at Green X. One of them, no. We got along just fine. The second boss, it was like, if you gave him the world plus the moon, he still wouldn't have been happy. He would have been like, well, why didn't you bring in more?
I hate those kind of bosses. Oh my god.
Like, cool, you did good, you overdid your goal, but why didn't we get this one? So it's like, all right, dude, like, what more do you want?
Yeah, we had people like that at AT&T, but sticking with pest control.
Yep.
So, kind of changing gears. I mean, I'm sure there's new people watching this. What's like the hardest pest to deal with? Just generally speaking, I don't know, mice, were they the hardest to deal with? Mosquitoes, cockroaches, what were like the jobs? Like, I know you didn't, in another video you explained you didn't like mice, so you didn't want to do those jobs, but what was just the ones you didn't like just because they were hard?
So here's the interesting thing with pest control, right? Because ants, especially here in Minnesota, eventually you're just going to get ants, and there's nothing that you can do about it, right?
Yeah.
It's just, they come in because it's spring, right? The thing is like with mice, cockroaches, and stuff like that, I can spray, I can put traps down, but odds are, if you have mice really bad, or you have cockroaches really bad, you need to clean your house. And if you don't clean your house and you don't change your behavior, or you don't change the situation, they're not going to go away. And every time I show up to your house, you're going to be mad because you still see them because you won't clean your shit. Like, pull out the refrigerator, clean out the food, do that type of stuff. If you don't, you're going to have ants, and you're going to have roaches, and you're going to have mice because you don't clean up after yourself. And that was like the biggest thing, is like, pest control is easily avoidable if you change the environment, and most people won't change their environment.
Yeah. So ants, Would you like have to bullshit your way through the job, or
No,
what are we
because
talking about there?
like ants is easy because you put a border around the house. Maybe you spray a couple spots that ants are pretty prominent, and for the most part, you can get rid of ants, or at least lessen them. Right?
Yeah.
If you have, let's say, just ants just climbing all over crap, then yeah, you got a problem. Right? We got to spray quite a bit. We got to put that border around. Then, an ant here and there, you're going to see, right? That's going to happen whether or not you have pest control. But it shouldn't be just an infestation. That's when you need a professional, right?
Yeah.
At least here in Minnesota. Now, in the South, it's a little different because of termites, and carpenter ants are a lot worse. But in Minnesota, pest control isn't 100% like a necessity, because if you change the environment, it'll be all right. So that's where that's a little weird.
Was there any jobs where like you had to like just give customers bullshit answers to like get them to leave you alone?
I did that my entire career because
so I'm sure that was kind of hard.
Right. Well, because like here's the thing: is like because we kind of have already dived into this, to be in pest control, right? Yeah, you're supposed to read a little booklet. Nobody reads it. You go through and you take these tests, but these tests are super common knowledge. You're not going to spray somebody in the face. You're not going to dump chemicals down a drain.
Yeah.
You more or less know the law, right? If you spray into the wind, it's going to go that way. Like common sense, right? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to.
But then, like once
chemicals.
you get on the job, it's not as simple. Is kind of what you're saying.
Well, once you get on the job, the people expect that you know insects and everything inside and out. No. I know I'm supposed to spray this around your house. If you have roaches, I gotta put this little bait in the corner because I'm baiting, right? This is bait. They're supposed to come this way. All insects, they like corners, so I'm gonna put it in the corner, right? It's common sense. But if you want me to tell you about their entomology and about the thoraxes and the abdomens and like how many antennas and all the stuff that people will ask you, I don't know.
So you just make shit up?
Yeah. Or like a lot of people really got into like the identification, like be able to tell because there's like 1,000 different kind of flies. You show me a fly. Yeah, it's a fly. Well, what kind of fly? House fly? I don't know. It could be. Or it could have been a moth fly. It could have been a drain fly. It could have been all these other things. I don't know. I don't have a telescope, or a little microscope to put it underneath, It's a house fly. Done. I don't know.
Okay. So finally, for the 18 to, let's say, 30-year-old watching this video, and if they could just directly ask you if pest control is hard, what would you say? What would you recommend? What would your response to that be? Just
it depends on the company you work for, right? Because some companies will make it hard, or they'll overwork you in the summer months because that's when they're super busy. But if you can get the license, because for some people that they just can't pass simple tests. If you can pass a test and you can measure, right? You have a little measuring stick. You pour a little chemical in and it puts it in water. I mean, fairly simple. And then you can go around and not spray kids in the face, and you can talk to people. Pest control is relatively pretty simple. In the cities, it's a little harder, but if you're just in the regular suburbs, whatever, it's about as easy as it can possibly get. You're outside all summer, so you gotta deal with the heat, so take plenty of water. But
so then, is upselling like? I know you didn't upsell at all, or all these don't offer that. But then, is upselling the hardest part of pest control?
Depends on the person, right? For
Well,
me,
I know you're Mr. Salesman.
Well,
so it's not so hard. But
in my early 20s, though, I wasn't, right? I didn't care about upselling because it wasn't really worth it. So it depends on if it's worth it to you to do the upsell. Now, like when I was with Orkin, you could upsell. You weren't really going to get paid for it. So nobody did it. Well, you know, in other companies, like upselling, you just don't do it. You leave that to the salesman to do. So you just do the work and you move on because you have 30 stops to do that day. And, you know, so that's where it varies, right? It's the upselling is easy when it's mosquitoes. I mean, that's the easiest thing in the world. Oh, you have mosquitoes? You want to get rid of them? I can get rid of them for you for $50. So you know, it's
yeah.
It's what you make of it.
So then what would you say is like the hardest thing? Because you make it sound relatively manageable.
The customer service. Customer service.
Just dealing with them in general?
Just dealing with people.
Okay.
Because you deal with a housewife that hates mice, but then she saw a mouse 2 months ago. She's still going to be freaking out about it for the next 6 months.
Jeez.
Right? Because she doesn't want to see it again. She's paying, in some cases, a lot of money. You know, some places are like $200 a month for pest control. So she sees another mouse, she's gonna call and she's gonna freak out, right? So if you can talk to people, it's not that hard. But if you can't talk to somebody and have an actual conversation and be okay with getting yelled at from time to time because somebody saw a mouse 2 weeks ago and it took 2 weeks before you guys came out, then, you know, that's kind of one of those things. So
why won't people just buy if they see one mouse, why won't they just buy their own traps?
Because then you have to get rid of them yourself.
Oh.
Or like somebody will put out a sticky trap and, you know, let's say like this is their basement.
Yeah.
And instead of putting the sticky trap here along the wall where mice run, they'll put it in the middle of the room and it's like, I never caught anything. Well, no shit.
Oh my god.
So,
okay.
yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah. The customers, yeah, that's I guess the hardest part.
Hardest part, 100%.
I don't know. Otherwise, any other stories? Any other times that were hard that we didn't cover already in the customers and jobs video?
No, I mean for the most part, pest control is a really good job for like your early 20s, right? Like heading out into like your first real like adult job, right? Because it gets you in front of people more. You're driving. It's a little bit more freedom right off the bat, so you can kind of until you figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. I don't recommend it for people that want to do it forever. But I do know some people that make really good money that will do it probably forever. So it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah. So I guess last question for real. You kind of hit on some of your interviews. So like the last one of the last videos we did, you kind of hit on some of your interviews. Once you got some experience, basically you got experience in a pulse. Any pest control place will hire you.
100%.
Getting that first pest control place, is it hard? Might it be hard for some people? The interview.
It depends on what time of year. If you are applying and you get a call in spring or super late winter, like February, maybe beginning of March, you're gonna get the job.
As long as you got a pulse.
As long as you got a pulse. As long as you got a pulse. Pulse, no crazy accidents, and even some places don't care about that. Like, that's all that matters, right? You ain't passing a drug test. Like,
Does every place do a drug test, or all three pest control places you worked at? Did they do a drug test, or?
Yeah, because of the insurance.
Oh, okay, yeah,
even
that
though
makes sense.
with where I work now and the big ass trucks that we drive, there was no drug tests and everybody gets high.
That's great.
But pest control wise, every place require drug testing and stuff like that, and it's too because it's through like the government that you're doing like ordering chemicals and stuff like that too. I think it's also why they kind of require that. But yeah, as long as you can pass a drug test and your driving record is okay, and you got a pulse from February to April, it's a guaranteed job. Come fall, a little harder, but yeah.
All right, I think that's a good note to end on for people thinking about it.
Oh yeah.